So from my perspective, just to give you some context, so to me, there seems to be some stigma. So I come from the scientific community, and I really appreciate you talking to me today. And I think the people who listen to this include, you know, fellow faculty at MIT and major universities, and it feels like there's some stigma to this subject from the scientific community. A lot of people, especially when they hear your story, are like, "Wow, this is really interesting," but you don't even know. You're afraid to talk about it, and two, you don't know what the next steps are. Like, how can we seriously try to think about what you saw? How to think about how we further look for things like it, how we develop systems and plans for how in the future we can immediately collect a lot more data and try to react properly, try to communicate, try to interpret this in the best way possible from a scientific perspective. And I just would love to remove stigma from this subject.
Well, I think that's the first step. We have done in this country an absolutely terrible job with these things. So you go, and I joke, go back to Roswell. So the first reports that came out of Roswell was, we have this crash flying saucer. That's literally what came out. And then magically the next day, it's a weather balloon and they're showing you pieces of Mylar. And you go, well, that doesn't look like what they showed us yesterday. Then you get into Project Blue Book, so there's that whole series about Project Blue Book. But the bottom line of Project Blue Book is it really did two things. It investigated sightings and it did everything it could to debunk and disprove, to the point where it actually went to discredit, to make you look. So there's always been this, I don't know if you'd call it an aura around it or a mystique about UFOs, that if you're talking about them, they're nuts. With ours, because I'm not a UFO guy. I'm not a junkie. If you ask me, do I believe that there's life outside of Earth? I would say you probably have a better chance of winning the Mega Ball lottery than we're the only planet that has life on it in the universe. It just, the odds are against it. If you do the math, you have to accept, because if there only has to be one other planet that has life on it, and then I win and you lose.
And the more and more science is showing that there's habitable planets out there. That everything we've learned so far, and we know very little, but everything we've learned so far about the planets out there, exoplanets, Earth-like planets, it seems that it's very likely that there's life out there. Intelligent life is another topic, but life.
Well, we as humans, and even more as Americans, we have this hubris about us that says, "Ha ha, we are it," and you go. Not so much.
Maybe we're not so intelligent.
Because we are, it's just how we learn. So, our main mode of transportation and what people figured out, years ago was the internal combustion engine, which led us to jet engines and solid rocket fuel. What if you're in another planet where you figured out the ability to create a gravity field, or you used, because electromagnetics are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Catapults on ships were steam powered, and the new Gerald Ford is electromagnetic. Roller coasters used to use a chain to get you to the top of the hill. Now they shoot you with electromagnetics and you're going. So there's a whole new realm of propulsion that, sometimes it's our ability to develop the technology to support the theory. Mm-hmm. We are just now proving, recently, theories that Einstein had, where people actually joked about them, and now we actually have the technology to prove that gravity can bend light. We have proven that. So you look at it that way and you go, well, does that mean that, 70 years ago Einstein was wrong, or 80 years ago Einstein was wrong? Or do you go, we just didn't have the ability to look that deep into space to actually find something that we could to actually measure? And, and I've seen
this. And that's
stuff
just 100 years and the kind of things that can happen in a few centuries.
Look what we've done in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.